to the Core Dog Experience, where I talk Buckeyes from the fans' point of view. If you like Buckeye talk, Buckeye content, please subscribe. If you're liking this segment, please hit the like button. So that's it. Let's get into it. It lasted for a hot minute. A hot minute. The number one and number two recruits in the class of 2024 were committed to the Buckeyes, and Buckeye Nation was happy. We was happy. But again, it lasted a hot minute. It was no sooner than it was announced we had the number one and number two overall recruits. The number one man said, nope, I'm going to decommit from the Buckeyes and I'm going to open it back up. Chance of, when they say that, they going to open it back up. Chance of them recommitting, slim to none. But we had it for a hot minute. So if you took a screenshot of that, there's something, I guess we can hold on to it. But yeah, for a hot minute. We had the number one and number two recruits for the class of 2024. And then naturally, Buckeye Nation is freaking out when Dylan Raiola decommitted. Because this is coming off the heels of another much publicized decommitment. And this one hurts just as much as the other one did. For different reasons, apparently. But it was trending. You couldn't go anywhere on any website, on anything, and not see Ohio State lost the number one overall recruit for the class of 2024. So, and we're freaking out. It's hard to lose the number one overall recruit and not freak out and feel somewhat panicked, especially coming off the heels of, like I said, another five-star recruit who had been a long-time Buckeye commit, decommitted and is going elsewhere. And thing with that one, I believe, was the running back. I think that was pretty evident. Was NIL. It was the NIL deal. They were willing to pay what Ohio State wasn't or couldn't, whatever the circumstances around that key commitment may have been. But we'll touch briefly on the NIL and transfer portal stuff. But yeah, so this one hurts, y'all. This one hurts. The number one quarterback, I believe he was spearheading the 2024 class. So we'll see how that plays out. But we still, for the time being, because as soon as he decommitted, people started asking, was Jeremiah Smith going to decommit as well? That became the next big trending topic, is when and if Jeremiah Smith is going to decommit. So hopefully he stays on board. As of now, he's still on board, and I think it might be harder for a wide receiver to decommit once you commit, because he's getting to work with Brian Hartline, and you got recruits thinking big term, long term. Ohio State's where you want to be, in particular, as long as Brian Hartline is here, because you can get your NIL money, but long term, you got a future potential first round draft pick in the wings if you come to Ohio State and let Brian Hartline mold you. So Jeremiah's still on board. We'll see. Hopefully it pans out. 2 years is a long way to go. Hopefully Hartline remains here for those 2 years and we start losing out on that. And if he does decommit, you look at our wide receiver room for now. For now, it is loaded. I mean, the 2023 class alone, look who we're bringing in. So it's the 2023 class is loaded in terms of receivers. So if Jeremiah were to decommit, I don't think the blow would be as big with him. But Dylan Raiola, big decommitment, and his is not so much evident as the other decommitment we had. The running back was Mark Fletcher. I believe that was the decommitment folks were talking about or referring to, the running back that has gone on to other pastures due to an NIL deal. So I'm just going from what I've read and heard and what's been reading, so I'm thinking that's the person and that's the reason. Dylan Raiola, not so clear cut as to why he is decommitting. I haven't heard any of the same stories around him. Apparently it's not NIL related. We don't know where he's going. There is speculation on where he is going to go. the thought process is now they got the new coaching staff there in Nebraska. His uncle's going to be part of that staff, so there's the speculation that's why he's decommitting and potentially will go ahead and end up at Nebraska. I mean, he's a legacy. That would be a legacy recruit for them. I believe his father played at Nebraska. So if that's the reason, so be it. But I'm assuming that's the only reason. I was reading through the article on 247 Sports. It's a good read, so go check it out. On why he may be decommitting, because this is one that appears, like I said, out of the blue. They gave a bunch of reasons why a quarterback would decommit, and he doesn't check off any of those boxes on why he would decommit. He was the number one quarterback. Thanks to him, we were bringing in the number one receiver. He'll be working in an offense that has picked quarterbacks, despite the history of Ohio State and the quarterbacks. He's coming into now where we sent our last three quarterbacks into the NFL as first round draft picks, or last two or three. Got Haskins, Fields, Haskins, rest in peace. Justin Fields and C.J. Stroud's projected to be a first round pick. So the recent pedigree of Ohio State quarterbacks is there. He's going to have an incredible group of receivers to work with. And it may, in the NIL money, whatever it may be or may not be, he was going to get something, I'm assuming. So it's just like I said, the commitment came out of the blue seemingly. And then, like I said, you read that article on 247, and they brought up the guy that didn't get a lot of hype. The folks trending that decommitted got a lot of talk about, but not so much about the one that Ohio State's bringing in. We flipped someone to Ohio State, but not as much fanfare about that, and I guess deservedly so. Lincoln Kineholtz, hope I pronounced his name right, but coming in with the class of 2023, he was a Washington commit, flipped to Ohio State, and he cited his reasons why. A lot of the same reasons I just mentioned why you would want to be a quarterback at Ohio State. You got the receivers. You got the recent pedigree of Ohio State and Ryan Day sending our quarterbacks to the NFL. So the track record's there, and he wanted to be a part of that, but not as much fanfare about that, about him coming in. Of course, he's just a four-star recruit. He's not the overall number one recruit. I believe nationally for the class of 2023, he's like 200 or something. But position-wise, he's the number 14 quarterback in the class of 2023. And then reading that 247 Sports article, if it's because they're trying to think of something that, and me as well, outside of the family relationship that might be happening there at Nebraska, why would you not want to come into an ideal situation like this? 2024, Stroud's going to be gone. The assumption is whoever wins the quarterback battle next year, be it Kyle McCord or Devin Brown, they'll be on their way out the door. So basically, he would have been competing against Lincoln Kineholtz, again, the number 205 person in his class, and you're the overall number one recruit. So their thought process is if he's scared of the competition, and he wants to go someplace where it's going to get handed to him on the silver spoon. And if it is Nebraska, which that's where some folks are leaning toward because of the family relationship, he's a legacy recruit there. His uncle, I believe, is going to be on staff there. And the competition is not going to be nearly what it is if he were to come to Ohio State. If he wants to go to someplace where he's going to start right away, I guess Nebraska 2024. Heading into 2025 season, that's going to be all him. Here may not be the case. He may have to sit a year, be it behind Devin Brown or if Lincoln Kineholtz is the man. You know, if he doesn't feel like he can beat him out, he doesn't want to go through the competition. I don't know. I don't know enough about him to say if he fears the competition or not. I don't know. So again, So just trying to grasp why he would decommit. If it's about him not wanting to battle Lincoln because the assumption is Lincoln will have um, firmly taken hold of the quarterback position. If Devin Brown leaves or whoever the quarterback is before Lincoln, if they depart early, thought process is Lincoln's going to be the starter by the time Dylan arrives on campus. And if he doesn't feel he can beat out Lincoln, okay, well, I'm going to go to Nebraska, take my chances there, because the quarterbacks may not be as good at Nebraska as they are at Ohio State. So, again, if he's moving on, so be it. I'm not shocked he's moving on. Quite frankly, I'm not worried that he's moving on because I'm not as worried as some Ohio State fans are in losing him because I think we got a good quarterback room moving forward. I'm not and haven't been concerned about the quarterback play at Ohio State for a very, very long time. I don't know how far do you got to go back to where Ohio State actually had a bad quarterback. Joe Bosserman. Now, I mean, Beckman, even he got us to a BCS championship game, I believe. Even though we talking about a year of backing in, yeah, we may have backed into that game, but Todd Beckman got us there. Now it's probably the last time we've had a really, I don't say not a bad quarterback, just maybe quarterback concerns. It's been a long, long time that Ohio State has not had a good college quarterback. Experience in the pro NFL might be different, but in terms of college quarterback in Ohio State has not been hurting in that department for a very, very long time. And if you're concerned about us needing a five-star quarterback to get us over the hump and win us the national championship, yeah, just look at our last two. Look at our last two quarterbacks that won the national championship. Craig Krenzel, and I don't know if the star system was out back then when he was quarterbacking, but I guarantee you he wasn't a 4 or 5-star quarterback. He wasn't even the starter. He was one of those backups who came in and did their thing. But you got Craig Krenzel and Cardell Jones, 3-star quarterback, third string quarterback. He wasn't even the starter. So again, you don't need a 5-star quarterback to win the national championship. I think even in these playoffs, then what, J.J. McCarthy, I think he's 5 stars. But who are the other ones? C.J. Stroud, 4-star. Stetson Bennett, walk-on. He was a walk-on that beat out a 4 or 5-star recruit in J.T. Daniels. So, again, perception-wise, I think it will hurt. It does hurt. I don't know if it's NIL related, but perception-wise, losing Dylan Raiola on the back of you losing the other 5-star recruit, yeah, perception-wise, it's going to hurt. But how it translates onto the field, I'm not sure we're going to miss him all that much because people thought we were going to miss Quinn Ewers, and we haven't. I mean, we really haven't. I mean, he's played, but C.J. Stroud has clearly outplayed him. And if you're worried about bringing that here and bringing experience here, again, we haven't lacked for quarterback play. Even with Stroud graduating, people been wanting us to hit the transfer portal to bring in a quarterback. Like, why? We got a 5-star who's been in the system 2 years. We got a 4-star who's been in the system 2 years, a couple years now. And Devin Brown, Kyle McCord's been here. When C.J. Stroud started after Fields left, what did Stroud do his first year starting? He became a Heisman finalist in the offensive system we have. So again, I'm not worried about the quarterback position here at Ohio State. I'm not worried about if Jeremiah should decommit. Our quarterback rooms, our receiver rooms are loaded. What I am thinking we need to do is get some DBs, and the other folks still feel that way. We need to go use that transfer portal to get some defensive backs. But again, but we got a good class coming in. You look at our 2023 class, we are bringing in some DBs. I know we took some portal hits in our secondary, but primarily safeties. But we got, I looked it up, our 2023 class, we're bringing in 6 defensive backs in our 2023 class. 3 of them are cornerbacks, 3 of them are safety. So hopefully they will pan out. They'll get a year experience because I do believe we got a lot of depth coming back in our secondary this year with Lathan Ransom, Cam, Cam Martinez. We got some. We got Proctor. I believe he's coming back. I'm not. I believe so. I'm not sure, but we got some experience coming back in our secondary, and then give our younger classmen who decided to stay. We got Sonny Stokes. Oh gosh, Kai, forgot his last name. But we got some folks in the wings waiting to come in. Got a good recruiting class coming in for 2023. 20 commits so far coming in. Hopefully, come National Signing Day, we'll do another snap reaction on National Signing Day and look at the class in whole, because the whole class, once it's actually signed, sealed, and delivered, because then that's you got to start. That's when you got to get excited. Now is the actual signing class. Commitments, they're just not so much hard. It's hard to get excited about when someone say they are committed, because it just we don't know. Especially 2 years from now, we just don't know. It's too hard for me to get excited about when someone says they are committed to Ohio State. I'll wait and see what happens on National Signing Day, the early signing period, and then we'll see there, and we'll see how many of these 20 commitments actually sign, and if we can bring in anyone new. I think with some of these decommitments now, some of these guys in the portal, that gives us more spots now. So, and we're currently sitting at, I believe, the number 7 ranked class. So again, NIL deals, transfer portals. Well, now Ohio State are still bringing in top 10 classes. I won't get worried about the classes until we just completely drop out of the top 10, top 15. But we're still bringing in top 15, top 10 classes. We have potentially to move up if we get some of these highly ranked uncommitted players to actually sign with us on the dotted line for when the early signing period starts. So again, Dylan Raiola, going to miss him. You can't. It's hard not to miss and feel stung by losing the overall number 1 recruit. But again, that's 2 years down the line. We got a chance to evaluate some more quarterbacks, maybe flip someone else for the 2024 class, and we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. But I'm not overly worried or concerned about losing Raiola in terms of on-field performance, because Ohio State has been fine at that position since 2000, going back to, like I said, the Krenzel era, when Craig Krenzel came on board. We've had good quarterback play, so again, not worried about any of that. So we will see how that goes. But that is my snap reaction on the whole Dylan Raiola decommitting, the other decommitting stuff. Not going to get into the whole NIL stuff, because I really don't understand how it's going to work in conjunction with how the transfer portal is going. Because once you get someone, for instance, once you give the guy that decommitted and is going off now to whatever school he's going to, do they get that money up front? How does that work? How does the NIL stuff work? Do they get the money up front? Once they get the money, are they committed to stay there? Because if I'm giving you that type of money, you're not leaving after 1 or 2 years. You're going to stay with me until you go off to the pros or something. But I'm not giving you that money and then wait for you to see if you can get another deal the next year from another college or university. So I don't know how all that works, how it plays out. When do they get the money? How much is, like I said, how much is guaranteed up front? How much is performance based? I don't know how any of that works out. I guess other schools are on top of it more so than what Ohio State is, or just Gene Smith's just not committed into doing what some of the schools in the SEC are doing. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out, how the portal's working out. Because you look at the schools the schools who have the most folks in the transfer portal. It's SEC schools. But Texas A&M had the number 1 recruiting class coming into this year, but they got the most players in the transfer portal. So I don't know. I don't know how that's working out, or I think there's some stuff that needs to be worked out with the transfer portal and the NIL deals, and that needs to some guidelines needs to be set for that. But for now, it is what it is, and I'm not worried about Ohio State's um, role or not role, but how they're going to perform in the era of the NIL. Do I think Ohio State will be fine? Again, we have the number one so far, the number one ranked class in the Big Ten. We're number 7 nationally, and we just got to see how this plays out when once some of the smoke clears on these transfer deals, transfer portal, and how the NIL stuff works out moving forward. But Dylan Raiola, going to miss him perception wise on the field. I'm not sure if we're really going to miss him on the field. If we just, I think we'll be all right at the quarterback position. If it comes to the point we cannot longer get 4 or 5-star recruits at the quarterback spot, you know, we can only pull in 2 and 3-star recruits, and maybe I'll start. Maybe then we got to rethink how Ohio State's doing stuff. But on the field performance, we haven't missed it. I haven't seen us missing out the quarterback play or missing out on quarterbacks. We don't miss on quarterbacks. I can remember last time we missed out on a quarterback in terms of recruiting. Everyone we brought in and put under center, they have been Heisman finalists, either on the fringe, either been a Heisman finalist or on the fringe of being a Heisman finalist. Our offense has been clicking. So, sorry, hate to lose them, but I'm not going to miss them. I'm not going to miss them. I think Lincoln or whoever we have in there, 2024, 2025, I think we are going to be fine at the quarterback position. So again, if you are liking this segment, please hit the like button. Do you think we're going to miss out on Dylan Raiola? You think Lincoln or whoever we bring in will be able to hold us down and just keep us going the way we've been going in 2024 and beyond? Or you think is decommitments really going to hurt on the field, or is it going to hurt more perception wise in what Ohio State's doing? I'll be interested in hear what your comments and thoughts on that are. Again, if you like Buckeye talk in general, like Buckeye content, please subscribe. And until next time, OHIO, go Bucks.